Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing all the wiring inside the Magnum. Once I'm done with the wiring, I could throw all the interior back in there. The interior will be finished, which will be awesome. It'll look really good. Everything will be good to go inside the car. Before I do that, I need to sort the bumper out. So I brought panel bond. I will put the link in the description for this stuff. All we need this for is, like I said before, to bond the tabs for the collision / parking sensors onto the back of the bumper. So once that's done, those will be good to go. I also need to cut the holes for the exhaust tips. And then once the exhaust tip holes are cut, we can fit the bumper permanently. Everything will be good to go. So let's work on the bumper first, then go to the wiring and just kind of work our way through the car. Hopefully we can get all the interior back in the car, or most of the interior. I really want to see it with front and back seats by the end of this video, and I think that is a possibility. Just finished modifying the Magnum rear bumper. I cut both holes for the exhaust tips. I also panel bonded in the parking sensors, and I panel bonded in the piece for the LED license plate light. So now everything just needs to dry before I can throw it on. What I'm gonna do is get back in the car, continue tearing the wiring harness apart and rerouting the wires that I need to reroute, and just cleaning everything up. I also need to pull the seat belt mechanisms out of the Challenger and have them repaired because the bag or the curtain bag on one side blew, so both seat belts are actually locked, but I could use those. Then I can plug all the harnesses into the seat belt. I also am going to use the rear seat belts out of the Challenger as well, and then everything, it'll have all nice black seat belts, and we'll just kind of go from there. Everything will plug in. Just finished throwing all the interior in and doing a lot of wiring, and the newer seats, the bolstering in them is so much nicer than the older ones. These seats out of the Challenger aren't the greatest, but they're a lot better than the seats that were in it. The seats in the interior that was in this car was very, very gross. Also, The rear seat is in there out of the Challenger, so everything is good to go. And I have the seats all the way back. You can see it's there's barely any leg room back there. But other than wiring the hatch, I need to extend the defrost wire and probably a few other wires. Add the camera. I need to figure out how I'm going to mount the camera. I might end up making some kind of wing and then putting the camera in the wing, like a mid wing, but I'm not exactly sure yet. So I need to kind of get the wiring to where the camera would be and then kind of go from there. I decided I'm going to use the hole for the windshield wiper in the rear for the plug for the camera. So it works out perfectly, and then I'll just put a wing right there and the wing will cover up that hole. So what I'm going to do now, add coolant, change the oil, and the exhaust, like you guys saw, I added those 4-inch extensions in there, and she should sound good. So let's change the oil and do the coolant and then start her up and see how it is. And I wish I had brake lines and brake fluid in it because I could go take it for a drive. We got the first start with the exhaust, the coolant. I'll probably need to get another gallon of coolant, but yeah, this thing is gonna be awesome. Exhaust sounds good. It is pretty surreal that this thing just has all the Challenger stuff in it, and it sounds so good coming in here. It's just like all the new stuff. I have everything on sport. I could put it on normal or comfort or whatever I want to, but I mean, this thing sounds so mean compared to this, even the 6.1 Magnums. Then you have all this cool stuff. I could select all this stuff, screen setup. I mean, it's just awesome. Look at that, engine power. I am pretty excited right now. The Magnum runs. It is so close to driving. Once I get the brake line sometime next week, we can bleed the brakes, get it running and driving. This is super awesome that this thing has all this technology in it. It's a 2008, but it has all the stuff from a 2016. So this is really cool. I was gonna change the oil, but realized I didn't have any liquid moly. So tomorrow I will get some, change the oil. Also, I need another gallon of coolant. Add coolant to this thing, get it 100% ready. Once we get the brake lines, this thing is gonna be driving. But otherwise, there's just a little bit of wiring that I have to do for the hatch so I can have the camera and all that stuff into the Magnum. But otherwise, the rest of the car is done. So if I had the brake lines, I could throw the whole front end on, but I think this is a really good spot to end this video. So if you guys like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, share this with your friends. As I always say, throw a comment below, thumbs up. See you guys next time.